And here, the theme is the role of HR. According to an article by HBR, a vast body of research shows that the hiring process is often biased and unfair. Unconscious racism, ageism, and sexism play a role in who gets hired. Unconscious biases have a critical and so-called problematic effect on our judgment. They cause us to make decisions in favor of one person or group to the detriment of others. The article continues. This in itself is nothing new. People are biased. It's one of the things that make us human. But how can we limit the effect of our biases in the hiring process as much as possible? Sure, we can put together a diverse hiring team, use inclusive language in job ads, we can incorporate blind hiring practices, and so on. But at the end of the day, it is often still the hiring manager that has a final say. And this means that if they are biased in their decision-making, we still don't have a fair hiring process. And this brings me to our second statement of the day. HR should have a veto power over hiring managers' decisions. All right, Marie, what do you vote?
I voted no on this one.
Great, what do you vote?
I'm joining Marie. I have something against vetoes.
Nice. All right, Marie, let me start with you on this one. So HR should not have a veto power over hiring managers' decisions.
Sure. So I was actually really enticed by your suggestion because I was, working in HR thinking, oh man, more power to me and all my fellow HR people. However, once I got thinking about it, I guess the question that kind of was front of mind for me was, of course, HR people, you expect them to be the ambassadors of company culture, values, working principles, etc. But I think you should not necessarily, assume that a hiring manager or other employees in the company would have less of that particular role. So I guess it's tricky to assign a particular veto power, any other sort of final decision making to any one particular stakeholder in the whole process. I would also, for context, maybe just suggest that, in the whole decision making process, it should be maybe at least 2 vetoes from the other participants as well. So it's not just one person making a final decision. Same for the positive, right? So even if it's the hiring manager who wants to hire that particular person, maybe that shouldn't be the only vote that's pro that particular hire. And I think what it highlights is maybe more the need to enable people managers, hiring managers, everyone who's involved in the interviewing process in particular, because that's, the first filter you apply to candidates coming into the company that really shapes the culture of your company moving forward, that each of them has the training and feels enabled to make the right decisions, but also gets the trust from the company to actually, I guess, translate that in their work lives and how they make decisions in that way.
Thank you. Great. Coming back to you.
Well, I absolutely agree. And my first reaction was there's already so much going on for HR professionals. Should we bring on an extra responsibility, deciding on whom other people will work with, because that won't be a direct colleague? Now, what we really love here at Triangle, and it's exactly what we did within our own team, instead of having this hiring person, if it's a manager or somebody else, doesn't matter. Yeah, make it a team building moment. We were looking for a new colleague, and we met a couple of people, and we had this one person of which we as co-founders felt like, yeah, maybe this could be a match. Maybe not. We don't know. And actually, I'm not going to say we don't care, but we shouldn't be the ones to know. So we talked to this person, we had a couple of conversations, and we said, listen, we're not going to promise anything, but would it be okay for you to meet the team, the colleagues you will be working with? And we mentioned to the colleagues, guys, we have somebody new who might join the team, but you're going to decide if you will be working together or not. So we invited everybody in the same cafe. Informal, hi, I am, everybody got to meet each other. And we had difficult conversations at first because everybody was feeling a bit uncomfortable looking at me and my co-founder. And all of a sudden we had to go to the toilet. No, we didn't, but we just left the table. And we stayed in the toilet for a couple of minutes. We came back and all of a sudden people were engaging into conversation with people. And that's where we wanted to go. So we sat down together for, I don't know, 45, 60 minutes maybe. And then we said to the candidate, okay, thanks a lot. We will meet again to let you know what we will decide. And we stayed together with the existing team, just asking within our psychological safe circle, hey, how did you experience this possible new colleague? And let's be honest, because you'll be sitting next to this person for hours in a day. If you are tricking me now, you're tricking yourself. And we got real honest feedback. And the conclusion was very clear. Yes, I think we can go for it. That's what they all said. So we hired this person, and really he joined the team. And it was as if in the first team meeting, the real formal team meeting, 3 weeks after he started, it was as if he was always there. He was really already a part of the team. And I think that's the way to go. Give a voice to the people who will be working together, because if you want to recruit a diverse team, go for it. It's an amazing added value. But if you have one, ugly duckling within your team, and I'm not talking about race, I'm not talking about gender, I'm not talking about age, but yes, I am. If I have one youngster in my team and all of the rest are baby boomers, this one isolated person might not feel so comfortable, because that's the second part of it. Don't only ask your team if they feel like it, if they see the possibility, but also ask the candidate after having met the team. Because, hey, if you want to work together, both parties have to agree. That's my view on it.
Thank you, Griet. Marie, do you have anything you would like to say?
Yeah, I really like the points actually, because it highlights, the aspect of giving people ownership of what they're actually doing in their work beyond, just the scope of tasks they have to complete. I would say also when it comes to recruiting, usually these types of diversity aspects should be covered before the hiring actually starts, right? So it shouldn't get to a final candidate and then for an HR person to have to bring a veto in. These types of things are usually agreed on ahead of time. So for example, if you have a team that maybe could use a little bit more diversity, define those things very early on, right? So maybe you are trying to make an effort to get maybe a female into this particular role because the rest of the team is quite non-female or, on any other aspect. Obviously, there's always a debate of whether that's maybe discriminating as well, but it's definitely worth having a conversation about before you actually get into the hiring. Also, so that the rest of the team, the interviewers know what you're looking for, right? So maybe there's a particular reason why you're looking to add more diversity, which is always great. But these things can be managed ahead of the process, not at the very end.
Thank you. Griet, anything you want to add?
Yeah, Marie, you're totally right. And I would like to invite people to help other people understand that different is just different. It's not better or worse. It's not a threat. It's not a difficulty. It's not an obstacle. If you can meet different people with different backgrounds, you can learn so much, but our brain is not helping because it's trying to convince us, our reptilian brain, our stress brain, that difference might be difficult. No, it isn't. Just go out, meet people, and discover how much you can learn from everybody. What I'm doing here right now, by the way, so thanks a lot.
So true.
All right, thank you both very much. So perhaps I can wrap this debate up saying we say no to the veto for HR, but we perhaps say yes to the veto of the team. Can I put it like that?
If we don't have veto like very strict, then I can live with it.
No, I thought jokes aside, I think this was a very very interesting take on it, and I think very valuable as well, because at the end of the day, these are the people who will be working with the new person. So it makes so much sense to somehow try to involve them. So if it's possible to do that in a physical way, as you did with your company, Griet, I think that is fantastic. If some people are remote, there's definitely another way that we can think of in terms of involving people, but it makes a lot of sense. Also because other people will have another perspective. They will think of other things that might come in handy in terms of doing the job, working in the team, etc. So I think that this is a fantastic approach.